Hey everyone, today let's talk about one more way to get data into a Google Sheet. So this one, some of these are obviously pretty obvious and not especially magical, but one way to get data into a Google Sheet is to pull a bunch of data from another place. So you're not creating new data like you might be with forms or with just typing into a sheet. You're just taking data from one place and putting it into another. Often that means you are on a website that is downloading a CSV or an Excel file or something else that's formatted in a way that a spreadsheet can understand. You're pulling it from there, you're downloading that to your desktop or to your computer somewhere, and you're then moving that data into a Google Sheet. So there's a lot of ways to do that once you have it. And you'll see in here this folder there's a few files in here. Two of them are just CSVs or CSV for import and the results of it. So one thing you can do is Google Drive can handle a CSV, and you'll see if I double click on it, it will just open it and show me the data. You can then open it directly with Google Sheets to put it into a Google Sheet. You can also just open the data on your desktop with Excel or Pages or some spreadsheet reader and copy and paste the data into here. And you can also do File, Import to import data from the CSV. So there's a bunch of different ways to get it into your Google Sheet, and nothing too complicated, but all just ways to, again, pull data from another source, an external source, a website, a database somewhere else, and put it into your Google Sheet for analysis or whatever purpose. Really straightforward, really easy way to do it. When you are doing it, if you are going to copy and paste, just be aware of the data that comes with it. What that means is that whether you're copying, pasting from somewhere else, or your file importing from somewhere else, or whatever you're doing, when you take the data, you may, and I think we talked about this in another video, it's not always just the data you're taking. You may just see this, and you may see, oh, C dash or 11 point whatever. But when you copy and paste something, or when you import something, the computer can bring other data with it, other metadata behind it, formatting, or other things you can't see. So just be aware when you're doing that of what you're taking with you. If you just want to copy and paste data, Command C is for copy. Command V would paste the data, but often some of the metadata. Command Shift V would paste the values. So in some cases, you may want to be aware of that. So if you're going to edit paste special, you'll see some of these things. And again, we talk about this in another video, but just something to be aware of. When you're taking data from one place, moving it to another, think about what you're moving and how you're moving it. And that'll be a good way to make sure you're getting the right thing. And then when you're doing this, you can also follow these steps. So you can, as I showed you, import the file, you can search for it or upload it or do whatever you want to do. But if you click on it, it'll then give you, so this is like a cheat sheet basically, but it'll give you a way to think through how you're going to get the data in there. Are you creating a new sheet or inserting a sheet or replacing a sheet or appending it to the current sheet? You're telling it how to know what the cells are. So is it comma separated, which is a CSV, or tab separated? You're telling it if you want to convert text to numbers, dates, and formulas, and then it'll import it. So not super complicated, pretty straightforward, and a very common way to move data from one place to another. There are two other quick things to mention, which we'll get into more detail in other videos also, are browser automation API scripts. So you can write code in some cases to do this, and Google Sheets is really good at this, where you can either write desktop code that is running JavaScript or Ruby or Python or whatever code you're writing in to do something. So it could even go open a website automated for you based on the click of a button or the running of a script, open a website, download a file, put it into a Google Sheet for you, which I do with a lot of files because I end up doing this a lot, where I'm pulling the same CSV from the same website repeatedly. They don't have an API, which would make it easier to just pull the data, but I actually have to download from the website. So I have to log in, click a bunch of buttons, and then download the file, then move it into here. So I automated that with some scripts. It's a good way to do it. And there's actually a demo video in this course that shows some of that. And APIs work the same way. They're smoother because there's no manual browser automation or automatic browser automation. It's the source of the data has written code that makes it easier for you to just ask the computer for the data you need. So the point is that those are nice, efficient ways to do it. If you are finding yourself doing the same CSV, downloading again and again and pasting it in again and again, you may be able to automate some of that. We also talked about macros and scripts for automating the formatting of these sheets or editing of these sheets in some cases. So be thinking about that. Be thinking about the tools you can use to make your job more efficient and to reduce errors. If you do want to do things manually, which sometimes you're just going to have to do, keep these things in mind, right? You can import, you can paste, And keep in mind, you bring the metadata or not when you're moving the data over. So that's just another way to move data between sheets, get data into a sheet before you analyze it. And again, just shows the power of sheets to take data from other places, combine it, analyze it, and use it for whatever purposes you want to. Thanks.